Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Monday morning. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I have a quick word for you. Tap in. Happy Monday morning, guys. I want to talk to you guys about the download I received this morning. Supernatural release. Supernatural release. Whatever God has promised you, whatever you're waiting on is going to be released supernaturally. So you can stop looking around at people thinking you can figure out how or who is going to be done through. It's going to be done supernaturally. You know, God have ways of just blowing our minds where for some of us, maybe all of us, I know for a fact myself, where God have done things, God have opened doors, or God have blessed you in certain ways that you can't even explain it. I mean, you can try to explain it, but it just doesn't even make sense. People will think you're nuts. Like, how did that even happen? Right? God is a supernatural God. So a lot of these things that are about to be released is going to be done supernaturally. So stop getting upset, stop getting frustrated, stop getting annoyed, stop getting disappointed because who or what or when you thought it would happen through did not. Now here's the thing. Whatever God have you currently working on, there's a good chance you're not even feeling it no more, right? Because you know that there's something else that God is pulling you to, but you're still in a posture where he have you currently. So that desire most likely have already left you. And if that is the case, whatever you do, still do that thing in excellence. Whatever you do, wherever you are, regardless if you know that God is about to shift you, because you can feel it. You can feel it in your spirit that he's about to shift you somewhere and shift you higher. And sometimes when that happens, you start to lose interest or you start to slack off or you want to just kind of half behind it. Don't do that, right? Don't do that. That's a test. So if you're on a job, but God have promised you another job or promised you a business opportunity, right? Don't go stealing people. Don't go stealing these people paper clips, right? Don't be hanging up on the customers who's calling for customer service. Like, do your job 100%. If you're in a relationship or a marriage and you feel like some other stuff is going on and God is about to pull or whatever, I don't want to get too deep there, right? Still do your part. Still cook, still clean. Do what you're supposed to do until God comes and gets you, until God releases you. No matter what you're doing, no matter where you are, God will always come and make it clear. He will confirm when you are released from a person, place, or thing. If you feel like God is asking you to relocate to a different country, to a different state, but everything haven't really tied up in yet, but you don't even like the place where you are, right? You don't even like the house anymore. The place, there's like a dark cloud over the place. You don't even want to be there. Just remain there until God releases you. There are still other things that he have to work out and tie up loose ends on the other side. And if you get too antsy and too hasty, raising my hand over here, right, at times, then you're going to prematurely go wherever you're going before he had chance to work things out on the other side, and you're going to miss the blessing. So we can miss the blessing by getting ahead of God, and we can also miss the blessing by lagging behind God. So that's why alignment is crucial. I always say, you know, sometimes things can be very confusing when you feel like you're waiting to hear from God, or you're like in this place where you feel stagnant and you just know that this ain't it no more. But then God hasn't really given you the full picture or the full release, and you're kind of just dangling there, right? And then you feel like, but I just don't understand. I just don't know. God will come back and make it very, very clear to you. It's just not the time yet. In fact, he will make it so clear to you that you couldn't ignore it if you chose. He will use confirmation after confirmation. He will use random people. You might get something in the word. Like, you trust me. When he is ready for you, he will make it so clear. And then when he makes it clear, everything unfolds naturally. I mean, literally, just picture some human-sized dominoes in front of you lined up. There's 50 of them, like human-sized dominoes. And when you walk and you tap one, the others just start to fall naturally. That's proper alignment and proper timing. Now, granted, let me be clear, because there's some times now you gonna have to get your hands dirty in some things, but I'm not speaking about that. There's some times you're gonna have to really fight for some things, but I'm speaking about right now. That proper alignment with proper timing is where a lot of us are. Another thing that just hit my spirit, as far as supernatural releases are concerned, those of you who God has given you some type of idea in the past and you just never really, I don't know, maybe you just, I don't know. I'm just the kind of person, like when I get the download, I'm on it, right? I'm on it. I don't let it sit, because if you let it sit, that thing will, but if I hear God on it, I move on it immediately. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm going to start what I hear him telling me to do immediately and put the other stuff on the back burner. That's just me, right? I'm crazy like that. But for some of you procrastinators, I procrastinate on certain things. I don't procrastinate on God things. Or maybe I do sometimes. I don't know. I don't want to talk too fast on that one. But you procrastinators, or even some of you who may lack confidence because maybe some things has happened in your life or your childhood, so you're not really a confident person, and you're so used to being shut down by other people, probably even your own parents when you were a child. Like, you've always been shut down. Like, whatever you wanted to speak, right, wasn't good enough. It wasn't affirmed. So that thing has carried over. And now that God is calling you to start certain things, you just feel like it's not going to be affirmed and it's not worthy. Listen, let me just tell you. Honey, you listening? I'm waiting for my coffee to kick in. I'm over here sounding like a moose. It's still early. When it comes to God-given ideas, and I'm not saying your ideas aren't important, right? Because I'm sure you've had success on certain ideas that you've had. I know I have, but it seemed like a season comes where it's just no more grace on that thing, because God is really calling you to get in alignment with his will, and your stuff just ain't even moving no more. Like, you don't even get fulfillment out of that stuff anymore. But when you get a nugget from God to start a certain thing, that can be anything. Nothing is too small when you got it from God. You may even have been working on that thing and doing that thing, and you saw no kind of movement, no type of volume, and so you walked away from it. Or some of you may still be at it. To those of you if you're still at it and you didn't walk away, but you know it came from God, like you know that it came from God, it was something that God set up for you, you right now are probably seeing supernatural increase. To those of you who walked away from it because you felt like you didn't see the fruit, excuse me, you're not going to always see fruit right away. I think that's the problem a lot of times with human beings. We're just so, we're just all different. So you may have started off, you might have 50 boxes open, right? But because you didn't see fruit from it, you walked away too soon. Could have been a year and you didn't see anything, and you felt like you were wasting your time. But if God gave you that idea, God may have given you that idea way in advance before he knew he would do anything with it, because he knew you are a procrastinator. So if he give it to you the week that it's going to blow up, you're going to procrastinate. So he gave it to you a year and a half in advance, and you got it done, and now you're like all peed off because it's a year and a half. Why would you tell me to do this? And the thing is just still sitting. Well, he gave I'm having my own flashback to one particular thing. But he gave it to you because he know you need 5 years because you procrastinate. But at the right time, it's going to blow off. And see, when these things like that blow off, it happens supernaturally. So it's like boom, boom, It flows, and you won't even have time to catch up. So you already had that thing prepared. Get back to it. But again, to those of you who are still in it, you are probably seeing massive increase in certain areas in your life, wherever the thing that God prompted you or gave you an idea and you was really watering that thing. And right now it's like, wait a minute, hold up. Lord, like, thank you, right? Those of you who are, Lord, waving the flag of surrender on these kingdom spouses and waiting, waiting on your prodigals and waiting on this and waiting on that. And God has said, I'm going to have a child by 35 and I just turned 36. And God has said he's going to send me a husband and I don't, child. Listen, I don't think, we know that God can do things in a second. We know that, I think. But I think when you're in the struggle of some things, it just feels like it's forever. And you kind of forget that God can change your life. God can change your life literally in a second. Literally. You can go from the pit to the palace. See, y'all, I got some of these verses under control, right? In a second. Literally in a second. Your life can be shifted in a second. So while you're sitting here having this hissy fit, right? Because because the timeline that God gave you is now dwindling down to 3 months. He promised you a certain day or a certain time or a certain whatever, which you got to be careful with that. I mean, I'm not saying that God wouldn't give you a certain day or whatever, but listen, God is God. If he give you a certain the time, the day, the second. I mean, is he really God? But I'm a firm believer. Oh, God will give you a season. He'll say this year expect such and such, or this such and such. But to say January the 29th at 10:13, God said, I will meet my kingdom spouse. If he said that to you, then I'm not, disputing your download. But the point I'm trying to make is that God can change your life in a second. He's done it several times in my life. The crazy part about it is, and this is the truth, when you're fixated on it and you're constantly thinking about it and you're trying to figure out like, he doesn't move. It is the most frustrating thing. It's like, why can't you move when I move? You move, I move, just like that. Oh, child. It don't happen like that. It comes when you least expect it. It comes when you're already turned off from it. It comes when you're like, I ain't got time for this. Let me just go do me. Right? That's when it comes. It's crazy. And this is why when you go do you better stay connected because that conviction is going to come, right? Because you can't be doing you too much, right? You know. You got to still be obedient to the convictions because God still knows what he has coming, even though you might be turned off from it, the idea of it, even though you may be tired of waiting, you're just going to do you and you ain't got time, right? But God knows what he's still working on. So that's why you keep getting convicted every time you try to do you. Somebody just got hit and it's a guy. Honey. But supernatural releases, the things that you guys are waiting on, the things that God has been telling you to work on, the things that you may have already worked on, and those things are just sitting, collecting dust, and you feel like, why did I invest in this freaking time machine over here or this antique typewriter? And God told me like he's going to use it and I'm going to make the first $1 million because somebody's going to want this invention and all this stuff. And this stuff is just sitting here collecting dust. Supernatural release. One person, one download, one idea, but God's timing. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.